What's up you guys, it's 2BRICKS and I'm back in with another set review for you guys. This is the official LEGO Jurassic World or Jurassic Park T-Rex Breakout set 76956, and this is another one of those sets that I just recently have been saying I didn't think we would ever get, and yet here it is. I have it in my possession built. It's kind of crazy. There's been so many sets lately that I've just felt like we were never going to get from LEGO, and then they just go ahead and make them, and then you get it and you just can't believe that it's real. So yeah, I'm going to be reviewing this set for you guys today. This is one that, unlike my previous couple of reviews where I've had essentially universally positive feedback but for a few nitpicks, this is a set that I actually had quite a few issues with, and I'm going to be going through all of the positive and negative feelings that I had about it with you today, and hopefully that will inform your decision as to whether you want to spend the $80 US to purchase this for yourself. I'm also going to be doing a follow-up video where you know, anyone can talk smack, but I actually want to do a follow-up video where I make a few suggestions or improvements, subjective improvements from my own perspective as to what I think could make this set a lot more valuable. So be sure you guys look out for that. That's going to be coming out a few days after this one. And then yeah, you guys will be able to decide if you want to get the set and if you want to make those modifications, if you think it makes it worthwhile for you. So stay tuned for that, and you know, for the time being, let's just dive in and review this particular LEGO set. All right, and once again, starting with the instruction manual, we have some really stunning kind of illustrated, rendered 2D artwork on the front here, which I really like. It's kind of interesting. They've been doing all different kinds of styles and playing around with different art styles for the instruction manuals lately, and I really appreciate it. You know, it gives a different flavor, and it gives you something interesting to look at before you kind of dive in, and while you're kind of opening up all the different bags and, you know, getting ready to build the set, you can read the trivia, you can see official photos from the movie, and that's just really nice. So again, A+ job on the instruction manual. Please do keep that up, LEGO. Really like that. But yeah, this is the actual set itself. Obviously it's kind of a long set, so it's hard for me to keep it all on camera at once, but you can see there the T-Rex with the tail extending off there to the side. This is the spent sticker sheet. There are a ton of stickers in this set, most of which I think were actually really useful and needed to get the look that they were going for. I do think that there could have been the balance of brick built detail versus sticker detail could have been improved a little bit in favor of brick built, but again, your mileage may vary with that, and I'll definitely point out areas where I feel that they could have gotten away with actual LEGO pieces versus stickers, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. But I think overall the set presents well as a display piece. It's a kind of a confusing set in a sense, because it does feel like it wants to be a display diorama, but there are some elements to it where I feel like the display value is hampered a little bit by choices that were made in the design. So I'll give you an example. I think that the decision to go with the brick-built T-Rex was a great decision. I really appreciate when we get to actually build things up in LEGO, because, you know, while the purely, you know, the molded animals look fantastic, I do think that there is something about building out of just regular pieces that is very satisfying. However, I think that the design on this particular animal, the T-Rex here, is well, it's not working for me. Of course, your own feelings on it may vary, and you may love the look of this, but as a huge fan of the original, and as somebody who's built a large-scale mock of the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, this doesn't really hit the mark for me. I think that there's a lot of stuff about it that takes it from the realm of, like I was saying, a display piece diorama, which is what the kind of stand and the black trim and the nice printed elements down here make it feel like it wants to be, and then this takes it more into the realm of being a toy, and not just a toy, but a toy for very young children who are maybe less discerning about proportions and things of that nature. So it is a little bit confusing in that way, but I think that overall on a shelf, you're going to see this from afar and you're going to know exactly what scene it is, and it really does look a treat from far away. So it's, for me, it's once you get up close and start really looking at some of the smaller details that things do get a bit wonky. But let's get in a little closer and see some of the specific details that I really liked. So one thing that I really like is that you can remove the Ford Explorer, the one Ford Explorer that is included in the set. That doesn't count. I'll talk about that later. And this is just one of those things that, like I said before, is one of those we'll never get it from Lego type of things, just because it seemed like such a given when the Jurassic Park license came to Lego that this would be, you know, one of the first things that they would do. It's the most iconic thing about the movie, the T-Rex and the encounter with the Ford Explorers, and it just seemed like it went along for so long without us ever getting one that it just seemed like, well, there must be some reason that we're just simply never going to be able to get one. But here it is, and I think that it looks pretty good. I think that there's a few issues with it proportionally, and once again, this is something that I've built a mock of, so I'm very close to it in terms of having like really studied the look and the shape of it. So there are things that just jump out at me right away, like the thickness of this section right here, and the tallness of the hood, and how far up this sits over the wheel wells there. And the fact that the design on the side here, this super iconic dark red striping, really should continue all the way down into just above these wheel arches here. So there's just something about that feels like, you know, you really are aware that this is a single sticker sitting on this this large hood piece here. And I don't know, it kind of distracts from the look for me a little bit. I would have loved if we could get at least a second sticker down here that would have continued the striping pattern down a little further, but I know that Lego doesn't like to make us apply stickers to compound curved surfaces, which this is, so I do realize and acknowledge that that is a limitation of just Lego, you know, design standards to make it easier for kids to be able to apply the stickers, so I get it. The bumper looks really great. They captured the detail of all this really well. The little kind of road sensors here, the front lights, the bull bars all look really great. I really like the way that this side section looks. I think they captured the various kind of striping details in here well, and the logo looks really good. These are two separate stickers. This is a 2x6 lime green plate, which was really nice to get. And then the 5 sticker back here, and then you have that's vehicle number 4 back there, or what's left of it. And then these printed elements here for the hubcaps are really, really nice. I mean, that perfectly captures the look of the Ford Explorer. You couldn't ask for anything better than that, really. So yeah, really all good as far as the side view goes, and you know, crucially, that is the most important view because that's really how you're going to be looking at it most of the time, so I like that. The only thing that I don't like is that there is a pretty considerable mismatch of color between the sticker base and the brick, the lime green colors on the brick and the sticker. So it is very obvious where a sticker has been applied. And also my particular die cut for the sticker sheet was off center, so you can see here the 5 here is just about getting cut off, but it just survived the intact there. And so there is a little bit of an area where I'm kind of having to try to favor one side over the other to correct for the misaligned stickers, but it's not a huge deal. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, the license plate back here looks really nice, and so does the back door here. I have no issues with this. We got the Ford Explorer and, you know, the Ford logo and the Explorer name, so this is a fully licensed official Ford Explorer. This is not just a generic Jurassic Park vehicle, so that's really cool. So the roof can come off. Oh, that can come off, but well, yeah, I guess that's how it's designed to come off. Sorry, I was confusing it with my own mock for a second. In my mock, the entire windows and stuff will come off as well. But the interior is really nicely fleshed out with the ability to sit 4 figures. The fantastic recoloring here for I've wanted this for so long, for the night vision goggles, the green helmet and the yellow night vision goggles. That's exactly how I envisioned Lego doing it, and that's how they did it. Fantastic. And the removable accessory in here for the flashlight that Lex shines in the T-Rex's eyes. All good. The color scheme in here is nice and consistent. The seat backs are the colors that I would like to see. And yeah, it all just works really well. So A+ for the interior on the car here. And let me just remove Ian Malcolm so you can see here they have the little interactive CD-ROM. That is also a sticker. And the 2 water cups to show that the T-Rex is coming. They used trans light blue throughout the set to represent any spots where there is water, and I think that's okay. It's not the most realistic. To me, I like to use, I prefer this color to represent kind of muddy water on the ground, and I would prefer like a trans clear for these, but it is nice to get those pieces in those colors, especially the parts down here, which I'll show you a little bit later on. So I think that's fine. And yeah, I like the little build here for the upside down stud plugged into the inkwell piece there to represent the cup. I think that's really nice. So yeah, no real complaints for the inside of this vehicle. This is all very nice indeed. So yeah, and I think that the roof looks decently good. I think that these floodlights are a little bit, I don't know, the cheese wedge pieces don't fully capture the look of it for me, but it's fine. It's good enough. I think good enough is the kind of the motto that I have for this entire vehicle. It's about as good as I could have hoped. So the only other thing that kind of bothers me about it is that it is so flat on the sides. It feels like it wanted to just be one plate thicker. You know, and you wanted the kind of the cab section here to get a little bit narrower than the main body. But again, it's a minor gripe, and you're going to be mainly looking at it like this, so you're really not going to notice that too much. So yeah, the vehicle, the Ford Explorer here is good. And next up, I'll just show you some of the graphic design elements that I really like. This Tyrannosaurus paddock photo opportunity sign I think is absolutely great. The kind of these little caution signs back here that are attached to the ruined fence that tells you the voltage and everything, and a little minifig hand indicating do not touch. I think that's absolutely great. Yeah, really nice. The sign work and the iconography and everything in the set is very well done, so kudos to that. And I think that the figures as well, which we'll look at a little bit later on, have also got excellent design work on them. The little plaque down here at the front is fun. I think having a little quote and you know, a little plaque from the movie or the particular thing that you're celebrating in the set is a nice inclusion, and I'm liking seeing more and more of that from Lego. And the fact that these are printed pieces is really nice because I don't have to worry about trying to line this up like I do with the UCS plaques, which I hate doing. Those big stickers are such a pain. So this is great, and a very collectible piece on its own. Just having you know, that line from the movie as a piece of Lego is cool. And I've removed the T-Rex temporarily just so that I can give you guys a look around here at the foliage. Very basic. You know, some leaves and trees in the back here, some branches. It's fine. Yeah, it gives you the coverage that you want to see, and from the back it looks fine. You know, it's got very basic builds and areas to support the plants. I really couldn't ask for anything more, and I think that they did a fine job with that. So it gives it the nice tropical feel. I like the mix of different colors of leaves that they used. A+. And then also the little area here that indicates where the goat was before this scene started, and it got chomped by the T-Rex. That was a great little inclusion as a good little Easter egg for fans. So yeah, really nice. So no problem back there. I think that's all really good, and I think that the fence itself, the angle is right. The use of these flexible hose pieces, or the these aren't hoses. These are the I forget what these are called, but they're sort of used for animal reins typically, and having those in the silver color works really well, and they just kind of dangle down, and you can really imagine the T-Rex having bitten through these, and it's great. So yeah, that all works really well, and I like the little detailing up here of the caution lights, you know, indicating whether or not the fence is active. All really good stuff. So yeah, that's all a plus, and I think that the way that they've represented mud and kind of squelchiness down here in the base, with the way that they kind of have these different plates, like so the car has been squashed, and that's kind of created these ripples in the mud, and using the wedge plates is a cool way to represent that, and pretty unique. And I like that they have the kind of footprints here from the T-Rex as well. It's kind of hard to see, like I didn't get it immediately, and then once I stared at it for a while, I was like, oh, I see these are the T-Rex's claws, so that's cool. And then yeah, filling it up with a little bit of these tiles, and having the quarter round tiles in the trans light blue is really cool, and you get a bunch of those in the set. So yeah, I like that. And then they just have these two raised areas here, which just holds onto the tires of the vehicle. I mean, it doesn't hold it, just kind of indicates where it's going to go, and it stops it from moving forward. So that's all fine and dandy. And the track as well looks decently nice. You know, you know that's the Jurassic Park vehicle track. So yeah, no complaints there. So yeah, overall, I think all of this as a scene, very effective. I like the little spot back here for the kids to hang out in. They give you these little raised areas so that you can see Tim and Lex behind the vehicle, and then this little single stud here just holds onto the remnants of the indication of the second vehicle. And yeah, this is the thing that I had the most issues with in terms of playability, and let me explain why that is. So the inclusion of all of the relevant stickers but in their crushed form. So front and back, you can see these have been squashed down. You know, you get the indication here of the buckling metal. Good, that is ace. The fact that they give you the full setup here for the bull bar at the front, minus the lights. I didn't realize those were missing actually. But yeah, that makes sense. They've been crushed in the dirt, whatever, that's fine. That's all fine. But the fact that the wheel is not present, so you end up with 7 of these Speed Champion style wheels, the newer ones that accommodate a 2x2 disc in the front, and then you get one old Speed Champions, just the hubcap portion, or sorry, just the wheel portion and no tire. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen an inclusion of one of these, a tire that the T-Rex could either be chewing, biting in its mouth, or you could have off to the side, or that you could just convert this into a regular 4th wheel. Just having the single wheel there, I understand what they were doing. It's a little Easter egg, but it's just one way in which it's harder to convert this into a second full vehicle. And the other way is that they don't include a 4th one of these. That was so frustrating to see. There's 7 of these, and you just need one more in order to fill in that final that wheel if you are making a second vehicle, and you know, you'd have to buy another whole set in order to get the last one that you need, or obviously wait for it to be available on Bricklink. But I just think that's such a bummer. Like including it as an extra piece would have been awesome. I think that was a big miss for me. I do like the technique here of how they connect the front and the back together. It reminds me of the recent Monkey Kid sets, how those are very modular, and that's cool and everything. But this, I mean, there's just no way for it. Like the hood is a different piece, and there's no indication for the interior or space to put the chairs or anything, because this is built upside down, so it's totally different. And there's just really no way to make this into a second vehicle. But you do have a few pieces to get you started and the stickers. So I don't know. It's just frustrating. I would have liked to have seen a roofless second vehicle that you could buy the extra pieces and have a second one of these. But I mean, if you're just buying this as a display piece, totally fine. But I think a lot of people would be excited seeing this included in the set and think, ooh, I'm going to make a second one. And you're in for a rude awakening. You have to buy a lot of parts in order to do that. And again, I don't know, for some people it may not even be an issue at all, but for me, I was one of those excited people, and I thought that it was a bummer, because I would have liked to have been able to have the option to build a second one. So let me just go ahead and place this back, and then I'll show you how Rexy fits in the scene here. So you have to kind of do some weird arranging with her feet. So you have to splay her one leg kind of out and up, and then you can place her foot down here on the bottom of the base, and then there's the area back here with some studs that you plug in the foot to, and it's a little bit tricky, but with some fiddling you get in there. And then, oh, pulled off Rexy's head, excuse me. And then once she's in there, you can kind of try to mess around with the alignment of that. So I'm going to show you Rexy up closer in a second. But yeah, this look doesn't really work for me. I think I had it better in the start of the video, but it's awkward no matter what you do. The way that she has to stand on there, I don't know. There's a lot that's awkward about this. Let me take her off again actually and just show you Rexy up close and show you what I mean about things being a little awkward. Okay, so as a toy, Rexy is fairly posable. You have the opening and closing jaw, you have the head that can go up and down, some ball joints, and some decent range of motion here for these, although you really can't get a very appealing pose out of the arms. They just sort of have to kind of just point. I don't know, the way that the claws are sticking straight out. Maybe you could rotate these down, I guess. Yeah, it's okay. I would have preferred a different solution for the arms, but that's fine. The color scheme, relying a lot on the dark orange color, I mean, it's a choice. I personally think tan into dark tan into brown would have made it for a much more realistic looking T-Rex that fits in, but it wouldn't have been as colorful. So I guess, yeah, take your pick on that one. And then, yeah, she has the posable legs here where you can splay these out. You can get a really funny look where Brixie's going to be stomping around. But yeah, you're mainly going to want to keep these probably in, I would imagine. I do keep knocking off the front of her toes here because they're attached with this sideways built assembly here with the hinge brick that has 2 studs connecting in the whole kind of front feet here. And that does get knocked off quite a bit, but it's not a huge deal. The way that the piece here that is connecting the toes is angled down creates this weird kind of splaying and curving of the toes. So the central toe is flat and the other 2 are raised up at this awkward angle, and that you really can't do anything about because in order for them to be flat, they have to be pointing down. So when she's standing, it's a little bit strange looking. And also this giant kind of boot back here. I want to see, that shape for the leg. I don't want to see all of this back here. And I realize that Lego has their standards for support and balance and structure and all that stuff. But again, this does feel like it wants to be more of a display piece, and I think that this really detracts from the look, especially because it's right up at the front corner of the set there, and it's so big and colorful. I think this really hurts the look overall. The big gaps in the tail are again unfortunate but understandable, but at least you can move it from side to side. These 2 sections can only move side to side, and then these back parts are fairly free to go pretty much wherever you like because they have construction that allows for that. But yeah, you're mainly going to be, if you're like me, you'll mainly be just facing these kind of forward to try to hide some of those gaps, and then kind of just curling the tail down. So that's good enough. Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, the proportions, the chunkiness of the body and the way that it just sort of goes into the head, and then the tan elements that are sticking out here, and the look of the eye, which is again done with a sticker, just none of it really meshes for me. The thickness of this bottom jaw, the bright pink for the inside of the mouth, the fact that there's no representation for teeth from the front view at all, it just doesn't do it for me. This, I think this is a miss, and I think because Rexy is such an iconic animal and such a well-known movie monster, I really wanted to see something a little bit better than this. I mean, you have this very kind of squared off chunk right here at the front of the jaw that's just kind of poking out. I don't know. None of this really lines up to make me happy. And of course, that is subjective, and it's something that you can decide for yourself if you like the look of, but this doesn't really work for me, I'm afraid. But yeah, the ratcheted joints here on the head allow it to move up and down, but I keep wanting to twist it or angle it, and then I keep accidentally popping the head off because it just does have the single axis of motion. And I don't know, I just think that for a toy, it's okay. I mean, you can pick it up and move it around, and that's fine. And it balances pretty well because of those big chunky feet. But I don't know, my heart aches a little bit looking at this because it's such a beautiful design that Stan Winston Studios created, and I don't know, this doesn't really capture that, I feel. But it does what it needs to do within the set. It can be placed with one foot up on the vehicle, which is nice. You can chomp on a minifigure if you want to. So yeah, it functions the way it's supposed to. I personally don't like the look of it. All right, and here are the minifigures, starting with Dr. Alan Grant in his rainy form. Looking absolutely fantastic there. I love the detailing on the shirt. I love the kind of the printing to indicate the wet areas kind of glistening in the light. That's all great. And I really love the use of the candlestick piece recolored in red and the little Minions hairpiece in a transparent red. It's kind of hard to see, but when you actually have the set in front of you, you do see the transparency, but it's just kind of, it's a fairly opaque transparency, but it is really nice that it has that. So yeah, this is a great figure, and they included a hairpiece for him as well. So that's really good. So yeah, pretty much everything you could ask for. The only thing I would love as a kind of wish list item is a piece that has the hair molded into the hat so we can get the full look. But again, that's a very, very minor thing, and you know, just the bare legs there, but that's totally fine. So yeah, really nice Alan Grant there. He's my favorite character from the original movie because I'm a dork, so I love getting new versions of him. Ian Malcolm here is looking great. A little bit of lack of opacity on the chest coloring there, so he looks like he's tanned everywhere but his exposed shirt area there. But I really like the metallic printing for the belt buckle and the necklace, and again the kind of wet look there. It's a little bit cartoony, more so on this one because the contrast is so high between the wet color and the black. Obviously when black clothing gets wet it just looks more black, but I get it, I get what they're going for, and that's fine. I think the glasses look really nice printed on there with the you know, the illusion of the lenses, and he's got two kind of two variations of the same oh boy kind of expression, and I think that's totally fine. Yeah, and great looking hairpiece for him, and again a second one of these flares, so excellent. Really like that, and of course it's very accurate to the scene, so that's great. And then the kids here, Tim and Lex, with their muddy garb and the actual recoloring of the arms to make them super muddy. I thought that was a fantastic idea. And I really like that they made their hair the same color as well. So these kids have really been through it, and it really shows. I mean, obviously she has the smiley face right there, which is really funny. And I think these are the same exact expressions for Harry Potter first year student kids, but just with mud on, and I think that's totally fine. That actually makes these more useful because you can put them into a Harry Potter diorama where somebody was doing a spell and something exploded. So that's really cool. And yeah, I think the look of both of these is absolutely great. I would have loved to have seen the medium length legs for Lex, the medium length legs for Lex. Man, say that 5 times fast. Just because she is considerably taller than Tim in the film, and those do exist, I believe, in dark tan already. But well, it's, you know, it's a small thing. And yeah, and then we get the happy expression there. I think this is a Neville Longbottom face with mud on it. I'm not sure, but it looks really nice. I could be mistaken about that, but that would totally work for Neville. And yeah, those are really good. And then again, the goggles are fantastic. And I did get an extra hairpiece for Tim. I'm not sure if that was meant to be the case, but I'm grateful to have it. And finally, I will give you a look at the spare pieces that came with the set for me, and these are all great. I really love the this special piece right here, which is the half rounded tile in the reddish brown. I want so many of these for so many different things. There's one that comes on top of Rexy's head, and there's this one that's a spare. And then we also have the dark red bar with a stud on it here, which again, so you get 2 of these included in the set, including this one, and I think that's absolutely awesome. And then this piece, which is the new shorter length of bar piece with the stopper in the middle in black. Again, I need a million of these. This is great. And one more of those flame pieces as well. So yeah, really nice part selection. And of course, how can I forget the fence piece here. Same color as the other one, obviously the silver, and that's a really useful piece to have. So yeah, really nice selection of spares. All right, so my final kind of wrap up thoughts on this. $80 for this set for 1,212 pieces. Totally fine. Value-wise, I think it's good, and it feels big. It feels substantial when you're putting it together. The base, I was shocked how kind of far back or how kind of long the base ended up being. I kept expecting it to stop, and it kept going. And the fence too feels really like you're like, dang, there's more to it. There's more sections of fence. That's crazy. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be as long as it is, but once you put everything on it, obviously it fits and it feels totally fine. But yeah, I think the substantialness of the overall kind of presence of this on a shelf is good, and the amount of pieces that you're getting and the build experience I think is good. So $80 I'm happy with. My subjective feelings on the looks of the set, the little aesthetic issues that I have with it are of course my own personal feelings, and yours may vary. You may look at this and think it looks absolutely incredible top to bottom, and I think if that is the case, you're going to really love this set, because the build experience was not super challenging, but really fun and satisfying. It had a few interesting little areas to it where I was surprised by certain techniques and ways of putting things together that I wouldn't have thought of. So that was nice. It's always fun to see. And I think that it just makes a good display piece for a Jurassic Park fan. And really, I mean, that's primarily who I think this is for, people who had that incredible experience of seeing this in the theaters when it was out and getting to have their minds absolutely destroyed by Steven Spielberg's absolute masterpiece of a film. Those are the people who are going to really, really have the appreciation for this. I think very young kids who are really only familiar with the newer movies or maybe the animated show, they're not going to connect as strongly to this, I think, only because the scene is very, very specific, and there's not, it's kind of capturing a snapshot of a scene. It isn't really something that invites you to jump in and play with it, although the elements can be removed, but it isn't a play set, it's more of a display piece. So yeah, I think skewing towards older fans and people with nostalgia for the franchise is your best bet, and of course anyone who loves building Lego dinosaurs. And and even honestly, if you're wanting to just get this purely to get an Explorer to put into a diorama or a set of your own, I think that it is I wouldn't feel like what was left behind was a ripoff, you know, even if you're just buying it just for this. So yeah, I think overall value really nice. Older Jurassic Park fans, or you know, teenage Jurassic Park fans and older, I think are going to love it. Little kids will not, I feel, get too much out of this. So yeah, those are my thoughts. That is the set. Again, still can't believe that it exists. Please, Lego, keep making more things that we never thought we'd get. The reveal of Optimus Prime just came out today, and that looks absolutely incredible. And that's another one that I gasped when I saw it. I couldn't believe it was real. So yeah, we're in an absolutely amazing golden age as Lego fans to get all these different elements and items that we just never thought was possible for us to get. So that's very exciting. Yeah, so my personal aesthetic feelings aside, I think this is a good set for what it's trying to be. And then yeah, make sure that you come back and check out my feelings about ways that I would improve this. Make sure that you check out my Rebrickable page if you're interested in seeing my own mocks and various creations, and you know, see me put my money where my mouth is. As far as, you know, people always say, well, you make a better one then. Well, I try to do that. So be sure to check all that stuff out. Links will be in the description, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.